Atlas has done it again. Metaphor ReFantazio is apparently doing very well. People apparently really like this game, which you love to see JRPGs doing well out here. Well, you know the drill. Let's see what the Steam forums have to say about it. El Sama with a new thread titled Hulkenberg Butt Censored. The red-haired character, Hulkenberg, has like no butt, and she clearly had one before based on the pictures. Not playing this until a mod restores all the censored content. What a show from Atlas. Edit. Found this link. This image is not mine. It seems to come from another website. Well, should I click it? Should I do it? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Oh, that's not good. That is not good. Oh God. Is this some localization nonsense? God, I hope not. That's really embarrassing. Hearts TM, who owns the game, writes, yeah, the Hulken butt does look weird. Like it's deliberately flattened to the point where the shading under her butt doesn't even make sense. It's like instead of cheeks, she has loose pants, but her pants are clearly tight. It reminds me of when they blur out cleavage on characters with low-cut shirts, so instead it just looks like they have a flat, smooth chest. It's weird to look at. Cosmic Spirit writes, this butt was for developers while they were developing, not for us. El Sama writes, Atlas probably want all characters to have no groin, no butt, and no tits, and then start calling them by different made-up gender/pronouns. How United States reached such grade of degeneration is beyond me, but the rest of the world does not agree with this clown show. Hell, I bet 90+% of Americans do not agree with this madness either. It's just a loud minority trying to impose their agendas on everyone. What a sad time to be a gamer. Rebirth the Edge writes, she got boobs and hip, which is way sexier to me. I consider the whole looking at people butt to be distasteful, actually. And he was rightfully clowned. Sabin writes, you guys will never beat the weird allegation Lamau. Justin Yill writes, why censor? Both real life men and women have bigger butts than that. Tiger Bear writes, she's trans. Codesters writes, even Japan is getting affected by this garbage. Seems like China is the last bastion of hope for waifu lovers. Well, not a great game. Snowbreak has some very lovely ladies, and recently they added some characters with butt physics. Game always had boob physics, and now the devs are looking to evolve even further. Got some stickers for that. Good job, Codesters. Jails writes, that imager is an edited model from a mod someone made or image editing. What a stupid post. You can tell when you look at the lighting and smoothing from either Photoshop or another software. Is from either. That's what he meant to write. Okay, sure. Moving on. Easy game, easy life writes, boob physics, the last bastion against the woke overlords. William Galeno writes, what do you mean by she clearly? Hulkenberg is a man, and their pronouns are they, them. If you don't know about the game, do not post. Please. You got some stickers. Look at the stickers. War Chief writes, it's like a hot girl fused with Mr. Rogers. JPEG says, cry more gooner. Gulp replies to that and says, I just want to see some ass, bruh. Ain't that deep. Shodingus replying to Sabin writes, not everyone is a weak-willed Twitter freak who folds under being called weird. Mental writes, rah! How can I goon? 0 out of 10 game. Well, before we leave this thread, I will ask the Western man which way, because these two people replied to the same post. Mental says, holy terminal prawn brain, seek help. Dark Souls says, based. Miles Coltrane writes, not that I really care, and then about 8 paragraphs of text explaining his position about how capitalism will blame itself for its downfall. Sounds good. Merv Coca writes, I know this is hard to wrap your head around, but this game isn't about sex or jerking off. I'm sorry. Yeah, so be happy with your fat ladies with blue hair in your games, bigots. Go goon somewhere else, chud. By the numbers, writes lol. Not wanting to buy a game over a fictional character's booty? Are you serious? Shut down the internet, go outside, and find yourself a girlfriend. Being a basement dweller isn't a good look. Tiger Bear replies to that and says, gaming is a Coomer basement dweller hobby. Be gone, colonizer. Colonizer? What? Did not expect that. Well, there's more than one person saying that this post isn't legitimate and that the images are not actually real, like they're not in the game. So I don't know what to believe anymore. I just think the posts are funny. All right, next thread. Wicker with a new thread titled Democracy is Inferior to Monarchy. Does the game push a pro-democracy narrative? I'm not really interested in hearing that at this point. First reply, Hush says, yes sir. Civex Rios replying to somebody that told the OP to move to the Middle East. Civex Rios writes, he lives in the worst monarchy of them all, England. Wow, this has devolved immediately into philosophical debates about systems of government. Oh, there we go. Star Trek democracy is based. Yeah, okay. All right then. Okay, yeah, Wow, this is very, very boring and very dry almost immediately. Next thread, Trash Mob Relic, who owns the game, farmed some jesters with a new thread titled, I can't stand how woke this game is. In the first 20 minutes of the game, I got robbed and called disgusting because of my character's race and got told not to come near someone. You watch, replies and says, that's not woke, but all right. Houdini Fontmeister writes, not woke. That's just life if you're not a straight white male. LaMayo. He got a whole bunch of stickers for it, and well, if you have a Sonic profile picture, it's something you gotta earn. I would say Houdini Fontmeister earned himself a Sonic profile picture with this post. Snowlight writes, who cares? Why does this bother you so much? Why do you care so much personally? IXO writes, if that is a woke, everything is a woke for you. You should touch some grass and interact with real human. Chris writes, I think it's sarcasm, guys. Boo! Go away, Chris! Stop ruining our fun! Barderino writes, cry baby. Sparhawk122 replying to Houdini Fontmeister writes, incorrect. LGHD TV plus community are a protected class in Western nations. They get preferential treatment, easier standards, and more hiring opportunities. Normal straight people, mainly men, now get everything harder and treated worse. We all know this is true. Durgan TTV farmed 4 I think this is more clowns than the OP got. Okay, not quite, no. He didn't farm more clowns than the OP. He writes, woke is not a problem. Bigotry is, and that's why wokeness exists. Get hearted used to it and stop complaining. You must not be part of any minorities or else you'd harding understand. Nostromo Lane replies to that and goes, you can't accept yourself, YOLO. YOLO. Why YOLO? Sultry Hag writes, wow, 2 whole clowns, worthy effort, and he was given a clown for that. Cynics replying to Sparhawk122, he was banned. He writes, I'm guessing they're the reason you can't get a girlfriend too, right? Rhubarb writes, this is some incredibly low effort bait. You know, I agree. However, it's a nice little blurb, 1-liner, 2-liner, and he got 7 clowns from it. So it might be low effort, does not mean it's ineffective. So make sure you get your definitions correct, sir. Cyberweasel89 writes, anti-woke is just, why yes, I'm istophobic and this is my newest buzzword code phrase for this, aka nice opinion. Which right-wing grifter YouTuber did you steal it from? And then he posts a link that goes nowhere. Laran writes, bro just tries to get some clown awards. Do not judge him. Shaney Topper, who does not own the game, writes, every time I see someone complain how woke this game is, it just makes me want to buy and play it more. Swim fan replies to Shaney Topper and says, right? Very happy face. If I hadn't already bought this game, I would do now that every anti-woke activist is raging over the theming. Oh man, if only he were here for Concord. What a shame. CyberWeasel89 replies to Shaney Topper and says, yeah, it's almost like right-wing grifters do the opposite of what they intend. Like how istophobia as the main campaign topic causes Republicans to lose votes instead, due to how unhinged it causes them to sound to normal citizens with social lives. Wait, are we talking about an election? What does this have to do with anything? I am so lost. I've never played this game. Maybe this is some reference to something in the game so that maybe I don't understand it. But guess what? CyberWeasel89 doesn't own the game either. So we're talking about Republicans losing votes because of themes in the Metaphor game, the newest Atlas game. Yes, because when you go to talk to your average Republican, the things they're concerned about are the themes in JRPGs. I need to go get a social life so I don't sound unhinged. Oh God, I'm like turned around. I feel like I've spun around like 100 times in my chair trying to understand this post. CyberWeasel89. I think he's gonna clarify. I hope he's gonna clarify. He's replying to somebody talking about Springfield, Ohio. He says, I see Trump, the Epstein frequent flyer and convicted criminal, has trained you to hate the mainstream news like a good little mark. The fact I can point out plenty of mainstream news that make Democrats look bad proves how sheltered chuds are. That and Drumpf's current VP pick confirm that this Haitians eating pets thing is a lie, and he's openly willing to lie if it means he gets what he wants. What's even funnier is that Drumpf hates video games and says they're the cause for horrible things that happen. It's almost like you're playing right into Steve Bannon's hands. You know, the guy who admits he used goober gobble to brainwash the youth into arrogant boomer politics. Seriously, I'm 35 and you guys make us who have been gaming since the 90s look bad. Oh God. Oh no, I didn't scroll down far enough. Yeah, there's the last line, sorry. He's 35. 35 years old, guys. Show some respect to your elders. He's been gaming since the 90s, you guys. I like this guy. Oh, he posts again. I'm just searching for his post now. All right. CyberWeasel89 slams those evil Republicans. He writes, JD Vance outright confirms that that's a lie. He says he knows it's a lie, but he'll lie out of his ass if it means helping his anti-video game GOP win. It's like you relish in being a mark and making gamers look gullible and stupid. I guess Steve Bannon is happy that he used goober gobble to brainwash you into thinking like a religious baby boomer. Now Drumpf can keep vilifying video games the next time a mass horrible thing happens. And you can be proud that you voted in the anti-video game party because you're that easy of a mark. I swear at one point this was a metaphor thread. And these are the kinds of posts on here. Xenic, who was banned, writes, dude have never touched grass. If think this is woke. CyberWeasel89. Here we go. He replies, it doesn't matter what they said. I'm just gonna read what CyberWeasel said. Weird how you claim there's video proof of this that doesn't exist. Yet you can't Google Drumpf blaming mass horrible things on video games. It's almost like you're a bad faith actor. And then he posts a video. I'm sure you'll find some excuse for why this doesn't count, Chud XD. Seriously, troll harder, Chud. I grew up on 4chan. I remember when trolling was an art form and bait was believable. You're embarrassing yourself, tourist. It's like you're trying to sabotage gamers from the inside. You clearly hate video games and gamers, or you wouldn't be doing this. Wait, hold up. You don't own the game. Oh no. No, you're supposed to actually buy the game. Being a keyboard warrior isn't enough. Did you learn nothing from Concord? You have to buy the game. Here we go again. CyberWeasel89, by far the most interesting person on this board. He writes, I gave him evidence he was wrong on both accounts. Chances are he won't reply. Too cowardly. I see at least one of these culture warriors forcing their politics into other people's hobbies on every single Steam discussion board, no matter how large or small the game, even these kinds of games. They always copy paste the same easily disproven conspiracies they stole from a right-wing YouTube grifter. The fact they do this makes me think they're just terminally online weird creeps from some forum who hate video games, hate gamers, and invade gamer spaces. Either that, or they're just marks who are very gullible, or simply anti-gamer trolls who are very bad at lying and trolling due to inexperience and immaturity. I remember when trolling was an art form and bait was believable. Those were the days. Did you post any more? I'm just like looking for his posts now. They're by far the funniest. Oh no, we left the thread. No! Come back, Cyber, whatever your name was. Grim Atrament writes, anti-woke grifters trying their hardest to make society go back to the 1600s. SMH. Trash Mob Relic, the OP writes, oh no, what have I done? King Crouch writes, Valve adding the Jester Award is single-handedly the biggest mistake they made. Now Steam discussion boards are full of low-effort posts by grifters that don't actually believe what they're saying, and the brain-dead hearts that keep giving them attention. Oh no, I'm a brain-dead heart. Oh no, how will I ever recover? KG writes, please grow up and change as a person. Be better, be kinder. Oh, perfect. This will be a great departure from the previous thread. You guys ready? Juicer McGavin with a new thread titled, so the bad guy in the game is basically Drumpf? A bit on the nose, IMO. Lol. LeMayo even. Recombo writes, it's the prince from Shrek. Bez writes, it's called TDS. You need help. Juicer McGavin replies to that and says, huh? I love Drumpf, lol. And he was clowned for it. Shield writes, that means Hulkenberg is Kamala when she beats him. That's pretty good. You gotta laugh out of me, Shield. Well played. Archon Sod writes, probably the point they realize all they need to achieve their goals is some kind of great leap forward. Snicks, who was banned, writes, imagine worshiping a politician that's so cartoonishly evil. You imagine him being represented by anime villains, lol. Moshi Wakeda writes, 1. Project insert idea onto something. 2. Go to internet forum. 3. Why is something insert idea question marks? Gut Kaiser Fuckgod writes, to a nail, every problem looks like a hammer with some successive Trump emojis. Rebirth the Edge writes, thread is starting to read like Twitter. OP now is looking for specific things to get outraged again. Moshi Wakeda writes, I don't think liberals see Trump as some genius Machiavellian twink. Got Kaiser for God writes, that's right, his fans do though. Well, that wasn't very much fun. Next thread, Fayez with a new thread titled, no queer representation here? There's bystanders acting straight in the game, but there's no LGHD TV plus content like FF7 Rebirth has it. That's a bit disappointing considering that even Persona 5 had non-binary characters in the game. It kind of feels like Atlas regressed in terms of representation. Dustin1280 first reply says, okay, bye. You did get 27 clowns, some take my points, superstar, and a heartwarming. Fayez replies to Dustin and says, LGHD TV seems completely invisible in this world, and got 3 more clowns and a hilarious sticker. Raven Ranks writes, catering to less than 1% of the population probably isn't a sound business strategy. Cyber Weasel 89, we know him. He writes, I don't remember any non-binary characters in Persona 5. I'm pretty sure this Fayez guy is a troll who's just really bad at it. You can tell because he doesn't even own the game. Don't take the bait, gamer bros. Wait, are you saying that if you don't own the game that you're a troll? But wait a minute, Cyber Weasel, you don't own the game. Oh no! Moki writes, no queer representation? I love it. Game of the year, deserved. Bone writes, a good old bait post. I agree. Cyber Weasel. He writes, as a veteran of the internet who grew up on 4chan, I have secondhand embarrassment for the former art form that was trolling and the entry-level children who ruined it. This guy just doesn't miss, does he? Shield replies to Fayez and says, agreed. After the Naoto debacle from Persona 4 with LGHD TV, QIA plus Erasure, Atlas owes the LGHD TV, QIA, 2S plus community. You got 3 clowns for that. Fayez writes, explain what's going on with this game then. I read on Kotaku. I can't read any further. Kotaku mentioned. Shield replies to that and says, I also read Kotaku and heard the same. However, the gays still claim Hulkenberg. Sorry, heckin' straights. Whitebane writes, great, instant buy. Thanks for the recommendation. Heart. Liana writes, it really sucks that there's bots like this fueling more anti-LGHD TV rhetoric by making stupid hearting posts like this. And that's coming from someone who's part of the LGHD TV community. Cyber Weasel 89 once again. He writes, right-wing YouTube grifters and their rage bait culture warrior marks ruin everything for gamers. I'm with you, sister. Hugs if you want them. Dap if you're not into hugging strangers. What? You're not alone and you have allies. This hobby is about accepting people who just love video games and these terminally online weird creeps and their bots and right-wing YouTube grifters are just anti-video game and anti-gamer at the end of the day. They're always trying to force their politics into our hobby and throwing hissy fits that media doesn't exclusively pander to them and them alone, using whatever they copy-pasted from the latest video of another right-wing YouTube grifter. I did Control F and right-wing YouTube grifters were mentioned 3 times in this block of text. I think if he had mentioned them 4 times instead of 3, it would have gotten his point across just a little better. But I'm pretty sure this guy's a troll. It's very funny though, because like he said, I mean, he said it himself. He doesn't even own the game. So that's how you can tell he's a troll, which is very funny. Divisions with a new thread titled Thoughts on the Story So Far, 30 hours in. Overwritten, nonsensical, too overtly political, needed a love interest introduced early on to ground it some more. Too much hero worshipping. None of the characters are 3-dimensional. The only good guy with a flaw so far was the father of the little girl. I suppose it's serviceable for a game of this genre, but only barely. Video games used to be where you'd go to find interesting writing. Seems like games have completely lost their edge these days. Well, I mean, he did get a clown out of it, so life's good, I guess. Mango Man 305 writes, needs a love story. LeMayo, no thanks, lil bro. Zero writes, wow. The quest for the crown story has politics in it? Who'da thunk? Are you gonna tell me it has too many swords and knights next? Catherine Morningstar, a conqueror, writes, OP, I think you're too illiterate to appreciate the themes of the story. May I suggest Call of Duty instead? Hey, Call of Duty had some pretty complicated themes, alright? COD 4 is not easy to understand, okay? Anon with a new thread titled, This game is woke, right? Atlas lost the plot. Just like RGG, Square Enix, and the other Japanese companies, right? I watched the IGN review that talked about diversity, equality, and other communist hippie diatribe. Sad that BlackRock's forcing of behavior plan is working so well. Sad to see a great effort destroyed. I played the demo that had a phenomenal art style, orchestral embellishment, and aesthetics, but no, I will not pay someone for re-education. I am old enough and can make up my own mind about socio-political issues. Kartoffel writes, you're right. Art should only be aesthetic and pretty things. Depth and meaning is overrated. I want pretty things and that's it. Parting politics and woke, I'm returning to BioShock, a true apolitical game. Easy Game, Easy Life writes, if you have clown awards to give out, they're better off with me. And he received 52 of them. Yes, 52. You did not mishear me. He got 52 clowns for this post. All right, I'm getting sick of this. We'll do last thread by Pink Panzer. He says, I am utterly sick of you all, and got a whole bunch of awards for it. Yes, you know who you are. And then talks about how the Steam forums are a cesspit and something about all of this. And basically how people come in here to farm Steam points and it's bad. And if you like it, buy it. If you don't like it, then shut up and quietly move on. Okay, very cool. Let's see if anybody said anything funny to this. I bet you they did. Hey, Juicer McGavin, we've got a Kamala voter, folks. 4 clowns, a couple more stickers. He did it. Antonio writes, the best way to combat such nonsense topics is to ignore them. Nothing angers them more than being ignored. We had a troll on another game board who would create new accounts after getting banned every day for their posts. You know what the community did? In his post, we discussed everything but what the troll wanted us to talk about. Talked about other games, the weather, jokes, all sorts of things. He got so mad he posted like 3 new topics and tried to report everyone until he was banned and never came back. You know, this is a great theory, Antonio. However, I've been reading this exact same theory ever since I can remember getting on the internet for the first time. Ignore the trolls. But nobody ever does. It doesn't work. The unity you need to collectively ignore the trolls is more than what a general audience is capable of. It's just not gonna happen. All right, I'm getting tired of this. We'll end the video on this. We'll give question mark the last word. He writes, maybe the real woke is the games we play along the way. I agree. All right, well, that's gonna do it. Hopefully you guys got a nice cheap laugh out of this. Hopefully enjoy the rest of your day. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.